Hi everyone and welcome back to the multiverse of 100 plus data science project series. In this video, you're going to creating here an MCQ generator applications using artificial intelligence and Python. Let's have a look at our demo application first. So upload document to generate MCQs using large language model that you can see. So I can choose here any PDF file, docs or textual file. So click on here, choose file, and let's click here to order of science. Click on open. You can see it's docs file. And number of question, let's give it here 10 and click here to generate MCQs. So you can see it generate the MCQs. So MCQ 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 up to 10. You can also click here to download as txt file. Let's click on download as txt. You can save it. You can see here it will download it. You can also download as .pdf file. That you can see it's PDF file. You can click on save. And if you click here to generate again, you can click on here. So this is the application that you're going to build it from scratch using Python. Let's go. First, let's have a look at the backbone code of MCQ Generator. And after that, you're going to converting this one into the Flask application. From today, in our multiverse series, we are not going to do the live coding from today because it's really time consuming. It will also taking here 5 or 6 hour long time to do the recording, editing, as well as uploading the videos. So that's why I decided that I'm just going to write the code before and I'm simply splitting all the code line by line. So first in our BS code, you're going to creating here a file called main.py file, and inside this file, we're writing all of the code. As well as we have two files in the form of PDF and the docs. So first, you're going to import here the OS for handling file paths and directories. Then we have the PDF plumber, we import it. So using PDF plumber, we can extract the text from PDF files because we have the PDF file, these ones. And also import here the docs so that you can also read the docs or Word document using this docs library. And you also import here app PDF, import app PDF from app PDFs. So using this app PDF, we can creating here PDF files from the generated MCQs by the large language model. Then we also import here from LangChain and Groq, we import here chat Groq. So using LangChain and Groq, we can easily access the Groq Cloud API. And then you have the LangChain.chains, we import here the LLM chains. So using this one, we can creating here the large language chains. Then you import from LangChain.prompts, import here the prompt template to define the prompt used for generating the MCQs. So it will help us to give some instruction to our large language model. Then we define here some constants and the configurations. The first one is called the upload file. So you can give it here your file path on here. I just give it here the owner of science.docs. Make sure that your file should be in the same directory. Then the number of questions, how many questions you're going to generate them. So give it here 5 for the testing purposes. You can give it here 10, 20, whatever you can. Then output folder, where our output is saved, you're going to give it here a folder name. If the folder is not available in our directory, it will automatically creating that. So using OS library. So os.makeDirs, and you're going to passing here output folder, the variable name as well as exist okay equal to true. If the folder is already exist, it is not going to create that. And then you're going to initialize here our large language model. So you can see chat Groq, and inside that you're going to give it here API key for the Groq Cloud, the model, and the temperatures. So let's see how can you access this API key. So this is the Groq Cloud workspace. You can just go on the Google and search for Groq Cloud. And you can see here API keys. Make sure that you are signed up with your personal email account. So you can click on create a new API key. So you can give it here any kind of name and click on verify as a human. And when you click the submit button, it will give you one API key. So I'm not going to copy it out because I already do it out. I'm simply click to close and go inside its documentations. And inside its model sections, you can see several types of production model. The preview model are available. You can use any of them. So I'm going to click here to copy this one, LLaMA 3.3 17 versatile. You can also using here the Distill Whisper model, as well as you can using here Meta LLaMA 4 model as well. So I'm simply going to go inside my code. So let's go in the code. And I'm simply going to pasting here the model name as this LLaMA 3.3 17 billion versatile. And this is the API key. And what is the temperature 0.0 means? Temperature 0.0 means the model will produce less random, more repeatable outputs. And then you also give it here some prompt because you know that large language model is working based on prompt. So in our prompt, we have two variables. One is called the context. I mean the context of our applications. as well as the number of questions. So number of questions is something 5. So based on that, it will generate in the questions. So what I can do is simply to give it here two things. One is called input variables. Another one is called templates. So input variable, you give it here the context and the number of questions. And then you give it templates. You are an AI assistant helping the user generate multiple choice questions from the text the below. So text, you're going to give it to here, the context that you pass it here as a variables and generate the number of questions. I mean, how many questions it should be generated. Each questions or each should include a clear questions, 4 options like A, B, C, D, just like the same thing, 4 options in the instruction. The correct answer clearly indicate at the end, so that it also have the answers. And you can see the format, how the format look like. So obviously this is nothing but one kind of prompting technique that you can see. It also have the examples. Okay, so you can see option A, option B, option C, and option D, and also the correct answer it look like that. And then I'm going to creating here a chains using our large language model. So you can see here inside this chain we're passing here our LLMs as well as a prompt. Now we have the PDF file and the docs file. So from here it also stuck in the text. So what I can do, you're going to creating here 2 and 3 functions. So first function is nothing but for text extractions. So first what I can do, you need to checking that if the file is coming here is the PDF or the docs or the textual file. So you're going to creating here a function called extract text. It will detect the file extension like PDF, docs, and text that you already defined. So then first you're going to checking here file path dot rsplit. We're taking the last one after dot. So because after dot we have the file extensions. So the extension is PDF. So you're going to using here this PDF plumber library in order to extract the data from this PDF file. So you can see here with PDF plumber dot open and passing the file path as PDF. So PDF. And then you're going to start in the text. So in the PDF, it had the multiple number of files. So if the period stack text, I mean, we need to first stack them. And then if it have any kind of pages, we need to iterate to all the value from here. And then you can simply going to join them. That's been in our PDF file, it has a multiple number of pages. So you're going to stack them based on the pages. Same thing for the docs. You can see you're going to be using this docs.document. You're going to creating here and Word document, you have to reading that. And then you're going to, in our document, you have the para. You can say that as a paragraph. So for para in docs.paragraph. So in the docs, it have another, the variables called, is called actually paragraphs. It's nothing but a list of objects. You can see list of objects. And then you're going to taking this para.text and you're going to joining them. And after that you have the text. So text, it's easy to encode. So encoding technique is called UTF-8. And then you're going to using here with statement with open file path, and R is for the read mode, SF, and encoding technique UTF-8. And we're going to returning this f.read. So if you give it here any kind of wrong file path, it will give you here unsupported file type. And also it also creating here a folder, a method for actually save the text file, because it will save it inside our paths. Okay, so what I can do, we taking here MCQs and the file name. So we need to also store it inside the result folder that you can see. You can see here upload output folders. Okay, in our result folder, we are going to storing them. So what I can do, you're going to be using here path.join. We pass it here the output folder and the file name. Okay, and with open, and you give it here the W for write mode, and you're simply going to give it here f.write and save text to this path. And also need to creating here actually two method. One is nothing but called a main method. Another method is nothing but for the save the PDF file, because you know to saving here file in 2 format. One is the textual format, another one is the PDF formats. So in case of PDF, you're going to using here this app PDF, because using this app PDF, we can actually store the data in the form of PDF file. So first you're going to using here add page, then set some font. You can using here any kind of font, Times New Roman. I just using here Arial and give it here size as 12. And for MCQ, in MCQs.split, in our split, you have this one. So after this one, it's nothing but our MCQ questions. So you can see here the format. So it will obviously giving here this kind of format, and then it will giving me this kind of that. See if the MCQ.strip, it will just stripping them, and we have the multiple number of cell, we just give it 0 to 10s, and MCQ.strip, we strip all of the MCQ from here, because this is nothing but our instructions. So after each of the strip, it will taking considering this one as a one MCQ questions, and then it will try to taking it out, and we're going to joining them inside our output folders, and we're going to save it in the form of output in our paths, and save to paths. Okay, that's it. And then you're going to creating here the functions for the main method, and here they're going to calling here the stack text, because first you need to extract in the text, and then we need to pass in this to our large language models. So if not text, just no text extracted. I mean, if there is no text inside your document, it can be empty as well. So just give it here no text is extracted, and generating the MCQs, and you're going to be calling here this MCQ chain that actually created on here. You can see chains, and using this chain, you're going to using here the run method, and you're going to passing here the context and the number of questions, and using his strip, so that you can also printing this out. And then you have the base name. So as to path the base name, you give it here the output file. We just give it here one kind of name, that is be the base name of the PDF files or the docs files, and you're going to save it in the text as well as the PDF, and then you give it here one message that MCQ generation is completed. Now what I can do, I am simply going to run in this one. Let's click on here, run Python file. So you can see here, make sure you are using Python 3.12.0, I mean up to 3.11s, because you're going to be using here the LangChain. So if you are using Python 3.8.5, obviously it will give you some kind of proxy errors. So you need to wait for a few seconds or a few minutes, because it's depend on the internet connections as well as the API request. So you can see it will calling here the chain.run, and you can see MCQ generation is completed. So if I go inside this result, and you can see here one text file, you can see to actually creating here some kind of MCQs. Okay, so what is at the heart of scientific inquiry according to the text? You can see the correct answer as well as, and same thing, you can see which of the following is an example of interdisciplinary collaborations in science. And you can see biochemistry, which merges biological and chemical principles. Cool. So you can see it will actually generating the questions as well as the answers. Same thing, it also stored it inside the PDF, but I'm not going to show it here because it's unable to show it inside this BS code. Now what I can do is simply going to creating here the Flux applications. So let's see how can you do that. Okay, so now it's time to creating here our Flux applications. So it's super simple. See, first you import here the OS, then you also import the Flux, because you need to also creating the applications. So from Flux, we import here Flux, render templates, request, and the send file. As well as you import here the PDF plumber, docs, as well as secure file names, so that you can also generate the file names, the app, PDF, chat Groq, LLM chains, the prompt template. Same thing you can see. So first you're going to creating here an applications using Flux. You can see app is equal to Flux underscore underscore name, and then we config here our upload folder, result folder, and the allowed extensions. So you can see add.config. Why this allowed extension? Because in our applications, when I clicking to our choose file button, so it will just starting here this PDF, TXT, and documents from our the local machines or the local PC. How are you going to uploading them? So if it have the images, it will not going to taking this out, and it just give it some configurations to our applications, and then also ensure the directory should be exist, because we're also checking that if the directory is available or not. So you can see uploads and the result folder, and you can see LLMs. You can see LLMs. You're going to be creating that the MCQ prompt. Same thing inside our main.py file. You can see same thing. Okay, and then you're going to have the extract text from file, the generate MCQs with LangChain. I mean, you're going to be creating here one function for that. Okay, for generate MCQs with LangChain, and save MCQs to file, and the create PDF, and that's it. Okay, just you're going to be creating here another functions called generate MCQ with LangChains. Okay, all things are correct. And then you're going to creating here an initial route for render templates, the index.htmls. So this is our UI file. So if I go into this template folder, we having a file called index.html. This is super simple. I just make it super simple. just having one div, have a from tag, and instead of from tag, I just give it a method as a post method. An action is generate. When the user clicking the submit button, it will calling here this generate functions. So this generate function is nothing but inside our route. You can see on here. And then in here, we having one label for choose a file, PDF, docs, and txt, and simple a number of questions and one generate MCQ button. Simple, super simple. This is the UI. I just using here the bootstrap. You can using here any kind of them. And inside this app.py file, so what you have the the render templates. So how the user clicking to this generate button. So it's better you can run this application from here first. So let's say run Python file. Then you can actually understand what is about this index.html file and how it will calling here this generate the route. Okay, because we initialize this route inside our actions that you can see in our actions. Action is equal to generate, and you also give it here some kind of encryption type multipart from data, and this is the bootstrap classes. You can also using the tailwind and css. Okay, so designing is not actually is not important at all. The main important part is uh, your backbone of the applications. Okay, so you can see here it is running up and down. You can simply going to click here to follow link. It will opening in your local browsers. You can see in my case is Brave. Simple, just super simple UI. So I can choose the file from here. I can give it here number of questions, and when the user clicking to this generate MCQ button, it will generating here some kind of MCQ questions. Okay. Now let's see what are the generate function actually do. So let's go on the app.py file now. So here the users clicking on this button for generate MCQ, it will calling here this route generate. Okay, and you can see here you give it here method the post methods, and then it will calling here functions called generate MCQs. First, you're going to check in that if the file is uploaded or not. So if file not in request.file, we say that return no file uploaded. So let's go on the applications and click on generate MCQs. You can see here, please select a file that you can see on here. Okay, so as well as you can same kind of okay, you don't see anything else in here but terminal. And as well as you can see, let's closing this out. Okay, now we can closing on here. As well as you can see here taking here the request dot files dot file. So what is this file name actually? If I go into this index.html file, and you can see here for file and input, you can using here a name keyword, and how you're going to passing here the file. So using this name keyword, you can getting the data from our index.html file, so that you can see, and you're checking that if it is a file, it's allowed file or not. So you can see here, we give it here allowed file name called the PDF, text, and the documents. Docs file. Those are the allowed file. And then after that, you're going to also make this file name secure, and then we have the file path. How are you going to upload store it? It also store them in a folder called uploads, that you can see uploads, and we can simply going to saving this path. Okay, so I'm simply going to deleting this out right now. So I'm just going to delete the giveaway. Okay, delete. I'm just going to delete it, so that you can also ensure that the file should be created automatically. Okay, and if I'm simply going to saving this one first, when the user upload the file, we're also saving here inside a folders, and then you're going to calling here the stack text from file. The functions that it created, it will help us to store the text. If it is PDF, it will be using here the PDF plumber. If it is docs, it will be using here the docs library. And after that, it will going to checking here the number of questions, passing to inside this generate MCQ with LangChain. So this is the function that we created, that you can see generate MCQs with LangChains. Just it is running here these MCQ chains by large language model. And after that, you have the base name. Just give it a base name, and you have the text file, the PDF file, and you're going to save it MCQ to file and creating here the PDF, and then you're going to render the templates to the result.html, and how you're going to passing here MCQs, the text file, and the PDF file name that you can see. You're going to passing it on here. So in our result.html, it's also super simple. It having on generate MCQ just heading, and it having a div. So in our div, so what we have the URL for download file that you can see, and file name is txt file name, which is directly coming from here. You can see txt file name. Just when it will showing here this txt file names, as well as it having another div for downloading for PDF file name. I mean, it will also generating, as well as it will you can also downloading the PDF file and the textual file, as well as we having another div, and inside this div we simply going to give it to here this MCQ that is passing from here. I mean the MCQ that is generated by AI. So you can see AI, and then you have the generate again. When you're clicking this button generate again, it will calling here this initial route. I mean it will calling here this initial route, and directly it will rendering here this index.html file. Okay, that you can see. And also you can be creating here another route for actually downloading the file. So you have the route and you have the download and file names like that. Make sure your spelling is correct. And download file, you give it here file path and os.path.join, you give it here app.config result folder and the file name. It will taking here the data from the file name from the result folders, and it will using here the sand file. So using sand file, you can see on here we can simply directly download the file. So you can see sand file, and then you can simply going to give it your path and the as attachment as I make it true, and then you're going to calling here this underscore name is equal to underscore main, and app.run is debug is equal to true. So our application is already running. If I go on here in the terminal, you can see our application is running up and down. So you can simply going to go on here, and then I'm simply going to go on the full screen mode, and then I'm going to click here the choose file. So let's click here to the owner of science and give it here number of question. Let's give it here 10, and now click on generate MCQ. So no search from the directory uploads the owner of science.tux. That means it's not created automatically. As you can see, it's not created automatically. I think I need to restart the applications because I do some changes in our application. That's why. So to restart the application, or you can also closing this out and I can also running it on here, because I just deleting here these lines. That's called uploads. You can see. So to running it again, and I need to go on here, and then I need to make it as a 127 this ones. Okay, now I can go on the full screen mode and click on choose file. So let's say the owner of science.docs and click on generate MCQ. So now it will taking few time. We can also give it here some kind of loading expressions. We can do that, but right now it's not needed at all. You can see it generated the questions. Okay, it's generated the 5 questions because you just give it here 5, and you can say download at txt and download at PDF. So if I click on download at PDF, so you can see you can download it. Okay, you can also click on download at text. You can see you can download at text. Okay, so cool that you can see. You can also click on generate again, and if I click here to choose another file, let's say this is for the Shakespeare dot these ones. Let's click here to make it 10 and click on generate MCQ. So the site can be reached. I hope so our server is loaded. Yep, it loaded. He restarted the servers. So I need to reload it again. Okay, because यहाँ पर recording हो रहा है, इसका बाद सब कुछ हो रहा है ना, इसलिए. Okay, now you can see it also generated the questions. You can see generated the 10 questions. Okay, so you can simply download it as a text or download it as a PDF, and you can also give it to the generator text again. Okay, like that. So that's it for today. Now I hope you enjoy this full tutorial, as well as you like this videos, and hope make sure you share with your friends, because it's helped me a lot. And also hit the bell icon so that when you upload here new videos you get notified. So namaste and bye bye.